Testing 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6. Sound check. All right, I think we're good to go. How you doing, folks? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report for a college football sports business Thursday. Not a Friday, but a Thursday. It is September 2nd. Hopefully everybody's having themselves a good start to their day. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below this video if you are watching on a mobile device. Today's podcast is brought to you by the World Series of Handicapping Pro Football Contest, and we are going into season number 10. And we're looking at season number 10, and hopefully you guys will be joining this year. It's a $25 entry. All you got to do is sign up, put in 7 picks a week, and once you put in your selections, then rate those selections 7 units to 1 unit, and the player with the most amount of units at the end of the season will win the Barron Championship ring that you see right here, $1,500 in cash. And also, if you go 7-0 anytime during the contest, you will win $50 in cash courtesy of the World Series of Handicapping Pro Football Contest season number 10. All right, welcome to College Football Thursday. And what we're going to do here, and this is a college football sports business podcast. You know, I was debating, do I call it a sports betting podcast or a sports business podcast? And since we're dealing with numbers and finances, and I'm going to go with sports business podcast for college football, and it's week number 1. Got a lot of great information for you guys here this week, and I'm going to share with you. We're going to go at the top of the show. I'm going to show you 3 links that I did on our during the summer. I gave out 3 college football tips that you can get in the description. Also, we're going to look at, we're just going to do a real quick preview of the computer picks for baseball today. And from there, we're going to look at the college football. You know, sometimes when you start handicapping games, and you know, you got to put the time in, you got to have a checklist. And one of my videos that I've done is a checklist. And on that checklist, the look ahead situations, we're going to go through that each and every week. We're going to see a coming off situation, you know, see if any team's coming off a big emotional win. Maybe they're flat the next week. Or is there a big look ahead situation? And we're going to take a look at some of the top look ahead situations for this week. And maybe, you know, when you have a big look ahead game, you got a top 25 team playing a lesser known opponent, you know, a team that's ranked like 150th or something. Then, you cut your playbook in half. Maybe you're putting in your backups in the second, second half, third, fourth quarter. So we're going to take a look at some of those situations. I'm going to go through the computer picks. And when I'm doing the computer picks, I'm going to give a breakdown on some of the coaches' record against each other, and I'll do my search database to see if there's any head-to-head matches that we should be paying attention to. Also, I'm a quarterback coach, and I'm going to give you my top, I believe I got 6 or 7, my top quarterback value plays of the weekend. And what I'm going to do each and every week, I'm going to give you which quarterback that, from an underdog point of view, have the best value going into each week, and I got that for you guys. And then I'll have an AMA, Ask Me Anything, with the search database. In fact, if you want to ask me anything on college football, I'll use the database, and you say, you know what, Ron, what's Ohio State's record when the total's between this and this? And they're playing in the months of September, and I will go out and I'll get that information for you just right here, right? So, for example, later on, if you say, okay, you know what, Ohio's playing on a Thursday night. They don't normally play on a Thursday night, right? So let's go to Ohio State. Hey, I got to say Ohio State. I can't just say Ohio. Hey, then people will say, well, why are we doing mock teams here? Hey, Ohio State, but we do everything. Ohio State, say on a Thursday night, they're playing a Thursday night game. So let's go playing on a Thursday. And, you know, they're not used to playing on a Thursday, right? They're more of a Saturday type schedule type team. But let me go. See, the one thing with this database, though, I'm going to be probably searching until the cows come home, trying to find these situations. There we go. Playing on a Thursday. So what's Ohio State's record playing on a Thursday? Believe it or not, 4-1. Only 5 occurrences since 1997. That's interesting right there. That Ohio State's only played 5 Thursday night games, right? So those are some of the things you can ask me. And then at the end of the show, I subscribe to various newsletters, right? Because I always like to see other computer picks and then base them towards my computer picks. And then I come up with a consensus. And I'm going to share with you my top newsletter consensus picks. And I'll give you the top, I think I got 6 of them this week. top 6 consensus pick, and I'll get you guys that at the end of the show. So stay tuned. Grab a coffee, grab a beer wherever you're at. Maybe you're in in Europe right now, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere, as Jimmy Buffett would say, right? But relax, have a beer or a coffee, enjoy the show. And again, if you're new to the Raymond Report, my name is Ron Raymond. I'm a 5-time sports handicapping champion. I was one of the co-winners last year in the MyBookie contest for the Survivor contest. I don't know how many other winners there were, but I was a co-winner, they said. And so I've been doing that. I'm the founder of the World Series of Handicapping Pro Football Contest. I wrote a book in 2009 called Ron Raymond's Top 50 Sports Betting Secrets. And if you want a free copy of that book, just shoot me an email at ronraymond@atsstats.com. So, as you can see, I've been around a while. I created a lot of many websites that I feel are good tools for the sports business industry. I'm trying to change the word sports betting to sports business, because that's what it is, right? We are in a business industry, and hopefully we'll make you some money here today. Now, if you are tuning in for the first time here at the Raymond Report, this is a sports business podcast, and what we do is we break down the numbers, right? And we try to marry analytics with situational handicapping. And my top fundamentals of handicapping, as you know, is I look for value, I play the percentages, and I look at performance cycles inside the numbers, right? So that's what I do as a sports handicapper. And, my goal here at the Raymond Report is to give you quality information. I prefer quality over quantity, and hopefully I can give you some good quality today. So when you make your selections, it's all about getting to the winner's circle. And then once you get to the winner's circle 2-3 times in a week, you make it to Cash Out Monday. That's what we do here. Got to get those t-shirts, right? Those Cash Out Monday t-shirts, because that's the main goal. All right. Again, if you're interested in the top 30 tips, go to the website on the YouTube channel. And if you want the book, send me an email. And I got all the tutorials right here at atsstats.com. Also, streetcatcher.com, you can see right here that C. Peter 2021 is being selective. He's on an 8-game win streak, so we're going to keep an eye out on his selections. And I see everybody tuning in right now at the bullpen, so I'm going to say good morning to Underdog Sniper. There's our Gizzles 517. There's Eddie O from Montreal. Bald Cash, how you doing, Bald Cash? And Plant-Based Junkie, Bill's Mafia's in the house. Big Ron Ray, let's get some profits today. Says Daddy Don the Road 314. All right, let's get down to business, eh? It's a sports business podcast. College football Thursday. I'm going to let you guys come up with the theme of the Thursday, like college football Thursday, but we need some type of cool nickname. I like Football Friday. Football Friday is pretty good, but we'll need something for college football Thursday. So I'll let you guys, with your creative imagination, come up with something. All right, before we get to college football, I always like to pay my respect to the horse racing industry, and we're going to go to Saratoga. Saratoga's, they must be getting close to the end of the season at Saratoga. I don't know when do they go till, but in race number 1 today at Saratoga, $55,000 claiming race, 105 post time, 116 miles on the turf, and we're going to go 417 in race number 1 today at Saratoga. Irad Ortiz Jr. taking the ride here on the 4. B-Bit with Joel Rosario taking the ride on the 1. 3-1 morning line on B-Bit. And the number 7 horse, Yes I'm Evil, with my guy, Luis Saez, taking a ride here on the 7, Yes I'm Evil, and 2-1 morning line. Now, if you're going to play a joker selection, the value play of the day in race number 1 is the number 6 horse, Blue Atlas, with Irad Ortiz's younger brother. I think it's Jose Ortiz. Yeah, there it is, Jose Ortiz. And he'll be riding the 6 horse, Blue Atlas, 4-1 morning line here on Blue Atlas. If you're going to play an exacta today at Saratoga, I'm going to recommend 4-1-1-7-7-6. And don't forget to box it. And if you're going to play a trifecta, 4-1-7-6-1-7 trifecta box. Always remember to box your horses. And if you're going to play the joker, I recommend the Double Dutch betting system. And what you do is you take the number 6 horse, Blue Atlas, put, say you got a $20 budget, put 10 to win, 10 to place on the number 6, Blue Atlas. And this way he comes in second, you get some of that money back. And if you want the entire tip sheet today for Saratoga, go to atsstats.com, go to horses, free tip sheet. And then in the pull-down menu, go to Saratoga, and you will get the entire tip sheet for free today at atsstats.com. All right, before we get to college football, I'm just going to do a quick rundown on the Major League Baseball. because I know we got a lot of baseball fans here, and we can't just let go of baseball. All football's here. It's like, okay, boom, you're out of here. No, we can't do that. We got to pay her. Keep. Got to go with the dance. Go to the girl with the dance, or what's that saying? Go to the dance with the girl that brought you, right? And baseball's brought us right up to September, so we got to keep going right there. Eric Pomper, I would like to have a book. All right. No, you send me an email, Eric. I don't send you an email. You send me one. Plant-based, and there's Derek Parra. How you doing, Derek? Nice to have you back here at the Raymond Report. And all right, so Washington against the Phillies. Still no line yet on this game. In fact, let me bring up Bookmaker to see. Before I went on air, I always like to make sure that we have all the latest information. So this way, I'll give you quality information. And on the game between Washington and Philadelphia, okay, here we go. We got a 175. So I'll have to redo the stats, but I'll get that in a second. All right, so Oakland taking on the Detroit Tigers. We have, let me bring this over here. We got the A's winning this one, 6.7 to 5.05. The over-under at 11.75. We got Milwaukee beating San Fran 4-2. The over-under at 6.55. We got the Boston Red Sox here now at 4.3. Tampa Bay 4.2. The over-under at 8.58. And look at the total now is at 8. We got Miami, New York. That game might be canceled, but check the latest. We got the Bucks taking on the Cubs. We got Pittsburgh winning this one, 5.5 to 5.17. The over-under at 10.67. Kansas City against Cleveland, 5.8 to 4.2. The over-under at 10.1. And we got Atlanta taking on the Rockies. And we got the Braves winning this one. They're happy to get out of Dodge, right? Literally happy to get out of Dodgerville, losing their last straight. Tuki Toussaint going up against Chichi Gonzalez. Hey, good old WKRP in Cincinnati reference right there. Chichi Rodriguez, as Les Nessman would have said. But Chichi Gonzalez going today for the Colorado Rockies. All right, college football. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a look at some of the big look-ahead situations coming up this weekend. Now, we got some big games. We got games on a Thursday night, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my college football page right here, so this way you guys can see that. And I got my my notes that I can bring up on my screen. I don't think you guys can see my notes, but all right. So we got some Thursday night action, and some of the big look-ahead games for week number 1. And if you are new to sports handicapping, sometimes, like, for example, the big look-ahead game for Thursday tonight is the game between East Carolina and Appalachian State. Now, Appalachian State are a 10.5-point favorite today against East Carolina, but they have Miami, the Hurricanes, on deck. So, 10.5-point favorite against East Carolina. East Carolina bringing back 20 returning players. Appalachian State bringing back 17. Is this a big look-ahead spot here for Appalachian State? It could be, knowing they got at Miami on deck. So that's the one of the look-ahead situations. The other one, South Florida playing NC State. They got South Florida as a 19.5-point underdog in this one. But, normally it's the favorite that has the big look-ahead situation. But South Florida, now they got NC State. That's a big game too, 19-point dog. But they also got Florida on deck. And then Ohio State. Ohio State playing Minnesota tonight, and guess who they have on deck? Yeah, those Ducks in Eugene, Oregon. That's right. They got Oregon on deck tonight, so they're a 14-point road favorite. And again, we just showed you at the top of the show, Ohio State's only played 5 Thursday night games since 1996 that I said. And so there's a big look-ahead situation for the Buckeyes. And then you got Tulsa taking on UC Davis. This is a classic one here. So you got a team in Tulsa, a 30.5-point home favorite, and they got Oklahoma State on deck. Now, Oklahoma State, it's not Oklahoma, but it's still a big opponent in the Big 12. Then you got Ball State as a 25.5-point home favorite. Ball State, defending champion of the MAC, and they got Penn State on deck. So you can see some of these teams, you got to be careful now. If you're going to lay 25.5 point, keep in mind, Ball State playing Western Illinois, big game on deck against Penn State. Stanford taking on Kansas State. This is going to be a great game. I'm gonna break down that game in just a few minutes. But you got Stanford playing at Southern Cal next week, right? So Stanford, big look ahead situation next week. They're a 2-point dog. This could be almost a pick'em type thing. But Stanford, big look-ahead situation against the Trojans. Oregon, Oregon playing Fresno State. Oregon, a 21-point home favorite. Now, this is your classic look-ahead situation, right? They're playing Fresno State. Fresno State won last weekend. Now they're a 21-point road dog. But Oregon, are they going to show their cards? Are they going to get a big lead? Are they going to, then in the second half, play their backups? But they got Ohio State on deck. And then you got Arkansas. Arkansas, the Razorbacks, a 19-point favorite. And they're playing Texas next week, so big look-ahead situation right there. And then you got Michigan. The Wolverines taking on Western Michigan. They're an 18-point home favorite tonight, and they got the Huskies on deck. They got Washington next week, so there's a bit of a look-ahead situation there for the Wolverines. So those are your classic look-ahead situations for week number 1. And what do you guys think of that? Is there anything there that pops up to you guys that has value? And again, when we do these shows, I'm looking, to talk about value. I want to talk about percentage play, and we're looking performance cycles, right? To me, I think Oregon is the classic look-ahead situation here, especially with the Ohio State on deck. All right, so those are your top look-ahead situations for week number 1. All right, let's get to the computer picks here, and we're going to kick it off with Temple. Temple taking on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Now, the line is -4. Actually, let me see here. What's the latest line on this game? It's not -4. It should be, let me see here. Should be 14.5. Let me see. Do I need to do another reset here? I don't know why it's saying -4. All right. So Temple, has that game been canceled tonight? I know there was talks about pushing that game. Have you guys heard anything yet on Rutgers and pushing that game? Maybe they pushed it, right? So I don't see it. So again, okay, maybe that's why the line's a little bit out of whack. So have you guys heard anything about Temple and Rutgers being pushed ahead? I'm not seeing it on the bookmaker, so I'm assuming this game has been pushed ahead, right? All right, I'm going to say good morning to Steph. There's Zachary, and give me a review of the Tennessee game. I'll be there tonight. And Gloria K, morning, what did I miss? Yeah, college football. That's what you're missing right now, college football. All right, Boise State taking on Central Florida, the Golden Knights. Now, looking at this matchup here tonight between Boise State and Central Florida. Now, this line I had at 4.5 early in the week, and as you can see, this line is moving. So I'm going to put this over here so I can keep an eye on that. I won't be looking at the questions a lot because I got 2 screens going, and I'm going to be focusing on the game. So I know Underdog is in there, and Underdog, if you see any questions, just save them for me after, and I'll get to those questions in just a second. All right, so you can see right there. I want to see what you guys see. Make sure I got the right screens up. And let me go here and bring up Boise State against Central Florida. Now, what are you guys seeing? You guys see? Okay, you guys are seeing that, so I got to put this screen over here. All right, just bear with me just a few minutes here, guys. So I got to put this back here, and then I got to put this screen over here. And all right, so I'm going to be looking away, so I don't mean to be rude here, but I'm just going to be looking at this screen. So right now we got Central Florida, 6-point favorite. Now, guys, the line I'm going to give you guys could change. This is the line that I had when I did the refresh about an hour ago. So if any of the discrepancies in the line, just knowing that, especially if you're watching on the replay, just know that this is taped this morning of Thursday at 10:51 Eastern. All right, Boise State taking on Central Florida. Boise State's got UTEP on deck. Beth Cook on deck for Central Florida. I think it's Bethlehem Cookham. And Gus Malzahn, 2 new coaches here going tonight for their new teams. Andy Avalos going here for Boise State. You got Gus Malzahn. Now, when Gus Malzahn was at Auburn, he was 77-38. He had a 67% win percentage, and he was 50-12 in home games. So a really impressive record. You're playing in a quality program like Auburn, and he covered 51% of his games. So looking at the forecast, 34-29. The over-under is set at 63.34. So it does like it to go, let me see here, under the total tonight against Central Florida and Boise State. All right, you got East Carolina taking on the Appalachian State. Now the line's at 10.5. The over-under at 57.5. I got App State winning this one, 43.7 and 19.9. The over-under at 63.67. Looking at tonight's game. So Appalachian State got Miami on deck. East Carolina has South Carolina on deck. So A couple of big games on deck for both these teams. Mike Houston taking over, I think it's his third year right now at East Carolina against Sean Clark. And looking at the forecast for Sean Clark, he's only got a 25% cover record. He's 3-9-1 against the spread. Mike Houston 11-10-0, 52%. And when he's playing on the road, 4-7 straight up record. And Sean Clark is 5-1 in home games for App State. But you can see right here, we got App State in a blowout. All right, we got South Florida taking on NC State. You got the line here is at -19. The over-under at 58.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, going to go with the NC State here, 37.8 to 22. The over-under at 60.62. Looking at both these teams right now, South Florida, let me see here. They got Florida on deck, and then NC State got Mississippi State on deck. So they got Mike Leach, the Pirate, on deck here, and they got Dave Doran, 9th season here at NC State. Big year here for Coach Doran. 55-46 with a 54% win percentage. And folks, I follow coaches, right? Because at the end of the day, that's where the buck that's where the buck stops. If your program doesn't win and you're not doing well, who's the first one to get fired, right? So that's one of the angles that I look at. Again, it's week number 1. We don't have a lot of coming off situations. So these are the angles that I'm looking at in week number 1. You got Jeff Scott here at South Florida. He's got an 11. He's 1-8 as a head coach at South Florida. And let me see here, 4-4-1 against the point spread. And we do have the Wolfpack winning this one, 37.8 to 22.7. The over-under at 60.6. Ohio State taking on the Golden Gophers tonight in Minnesota. We got the Buckeyes, a 14-point favorite. The over-under at 62.5. We do like the Buckeyes to win this one, 40 to 20. The over-under at 60.7. I do like the under in this game. And looking at the Ryan Day, 23-2 as a head coach at Ohio State. 92% win percentage, 7-0 on the road, and he's 15-10 against the point spread. And PJ Fleck coming off a somewhat not a great season last year. He got shafted in that one Thursday night game last year, if you recall. But they got Miami on deck, and Ohio State got Oregon on deck, right? So a big look-ahead game here for Ohio State. I think 14 points, it's something to, something's weird, right? You think Ohio State would be a little bit more than that. But looking at both, I'm not touching this game. I think the under is where the value is. But if you're going to play this game, I think under is where you want to go. Bowling Green taking on the Tennessee Volunteers. And I saw somebody in our forecast here just said somebody's going to that game here tonight. I think it was Zach, right? Zachary Reed going to the game tonight between the Vols and the Falcons. Well, it's not the greatest matchup, but you know what? It's still football, right? And looking at the forecast, Tennessee a 35-point favorite. The over-under at 59.5. The forecast leaning with the Volunteers in this one, 42.6 to 16.7. The over-under at 59.41. And looking at Josh Heupel now, the new head coach of the Tennessee Volunteer. He comes from Central Florida last year. And looking at Coach Heupel's record on the career, he's 28-8 with a 78% win percentage. And he's 16-2 when he's labeled the home team. So a very good record here for Coach Heupel, and he's going up against Coach Scott LaFleur of the Bowling Green. I wonder if that's the same LaFleur that played in the CFL. Anybody know about that? There was a BC player, LaFleur, that played LaFleur, and we know it's not Guy LaFleur, but Scott LaFleur. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. 3-14, Bowling Green, really struggling. And for the Tennessee Volunteers, they got the Pitt Panthers on deck next week. All right, UC Davis taking on the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Now, Tulsa, we know, I believe they have a new starting quarterback, 30.5-point favorite. The over-under set at 55.5. And we're going to go with the Golden Hurricanes in this one, 44-19. The over-under at 63.34. And looking at Philip Montgomery, coach of the Golden Hurricanes, 31-40 with a 44% win percentage, 19-14 at home. And against the point spread, though, very good against the point spread. Coach Montgomery is 40-30-1 against the spread for 57%. Western Illinois taking on the defending champion, MAC champions, Ball State Cardinals. And minus 25.5 is the line right here for Ball State. The over-under is set at 59.5. Forecast, going to lean with the Cardinals, 36.9 to 22.8. The over-under at 59.75. Looking at some of the numbers here for Ball State. Now, Ball State's got a big game on deck here next week. They got Penn State, so could they be looking ahead here? 25.5-point favorite. And returning starters. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, on that Minnesota game, Minnesota's got 20 returning starters coming back compared to Ohio State's 11. And, one thing that I look at is returning starters. But when you get these top 25 teams with low returning starters, they don't rebuild. They just reload, right? They got a lot of players in the on the rosters. So, and there's some of these number twos could probably start. Number twos and threes could start at some of these schools, middle schools, number ones, right? So 20 and for Rutgers, if they do play tonight, 21 returning starters and 14 only for Temple. So I forgot to mention that in the breakdown. Mike New here for Ball State. He could be in line for a big coaching job. Like, there's a lot of coaches this year who are at these I don't want to say lower programs, but Ball State's not like SEC, but some of these coaches are always working towards the next big contract, right? So Mike New's name is in that conversation. 22-34. That's what happens when you win a championship, right? Every school wants a winner. I always say it all the time, right? Winners win. 22-34, only 39% win percentage, and 27-29-0 against the point spread for Coach New. All right, those are your Thursday night games. Let me take a look at some of the questions here. If I'm missing any, Boise State dog died, says plant-based. I live in Knox, so it should be fun. Yes, we're back. Cash says Alval. And all right, so I didn't miss any questions. Perfect. All right, let's move it along. Keep the gravy train going here. And let's talk about Duke taking on the Charlotte 49ers. Now, looking at this matchup here, we have the Blue Devils. I want to say that 10 times. The Duke Blue Devils and the 49ers. You know what? They've been a pretty good team against the point spread. Let me take a look at the Charlotte 49ers here last couple of years. Let me go here on my trusted database, and let me go some of these. And again, if you watch some of my videos, some of these lower schools that lower name schools that nobody really follows. Like last year, Coastal Carolina, really good. And let's see Charlotte, and let's take a look at the last couple of years here. Let's do the last 3 years. Charlotte 49ers, 14-6. For some reason, I thought it was better than that. 16-14. Maybe it was the last 2 years. Let me check the last 2 years. 9-9. For some reason, I thought Charlotte was really. Let me see. Last season, 20. Let's go back to 2020. There you go. So last season, 2-4. Okay, for some reason, I thought it was a little bit better, but maybe not. All right, let's get back to the forecast here. So we do like Charlotte in an upset here. Look at this. 34-28, the over-under at 63.01. And looking at all my newsletter, I think I'm the only one, ATS, that is on the other side. And the other two newsletter that I get, they're on the other side. So, interesting right there. So it could be a live dog here. Will Healy, the head coach of the Charlotte 49ers, has a 47% win percentage, 6-2 at home, only 3-7 on the road. And David Cutcliffe, 14th season here at Duke. And you can see his record against the point spread, 86-69-4 for a 55% win percentage. But Coach Coach Cutcliffe is 31-39 in road games when he's at the helm here at the Duke Blue Devils. All right, let's take a look at the North Carolina Tar Heels taking on the Hokies. This is the game of the night on Friday night. You got North Carolina, Mac Brown, head coach here for the North Carolina Tar Heels. And Coach Brown on the road, though, 27-30 straight up, a 53% win percentage against the point spread, 73-64. Looking at the returning starters for North Carolina this year, you got 18 returning and 15 for Virginia Tech. Braxton Burmeister, one of the value quarterbacks. A little heads up, I'm going to give you guys some of my underdog quarterbacks to watch out this weekend. He's one of them. And Justin Fuentes here, the head coach of Virginia Tech, 38-26, 59% win percentage. So when you look at the win percentage between Coach Brown and Justin Fuentes, Coach Fuentes, only a 1% difference. Coach Fuentes, 22-10 in Blacksburg. So you can see Coach Fuentes very good when they're the Sandman, right? We're going to enter to the Sandman on Friday night. There's some more classic rock. Hey, everything's about classic rock, right? When we do the show, hey, we got a little bit of classic rock here. Too bad there's video music rights here on YouTube. I'd play some classic rock in the background. But North Carolina, again, Mac Brown, a 53% ATS record compared to 47 for Coach Fuentes. But Coach Fuentes, good record at home, 22-10 straight up. All right, Michigan taking on Northwestern. You got the Spartans going into Chicago here in Northwestern. I think it's on the outskirts of Chicago. -3 is the line here on the Wildcats. The over-under at 45.5. And, the coach Fitzgerald, one of the longest tenured coaches, I believe. I think Nick Saban's the other one, maybe. 16 years at Northwestern. You don't see coaches like in the old days where they're 30, 40 years, right? But you know what? Pat Fitzgerald, he's had the opportunity to go anywhere he wants, but he loves Northwestern. He's an alumni there. He's not leaving. Mel Tucker, second year at Michigan State. And for Coach Fitzgerald, 106-81 record at Northwestern. 57-41. Now, they've lost a lot of returning players at Northwestern. They've only got 8 returning starters. Michigan State, not a great year last year, and 17 returning starters. And Tucker, only 2-5 and 33% covering the spread. But I will get to the newsletter after and show you who I like in this game. All right, Old Dominion taking on Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons, a 31-point favorite. The over-under at 62.5. ATS forecast. Computer pick, going to go Wake Forest in this one. 46-24, the over-under at a whopping 71.5. And looking at the coaches going into this game, you got Ricky Ron for the Old Dominion Monarchs. And, first year, they didn't play last year, right? So he's still a rookie here. And Dave Clausen for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. 47% win percentage, 22-20 at home. And 4 against the point spread, 44-39-2 against the number. And you can see that's a pretty high number right there. And we'll see what happens with our consensus pick. All right, the Jackrabbits taking on the Colorado State Rams. Now, South Dakota, 3.5-point road favorite in this one. The over-under set at 53.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, going to lean with the Rams here. 37-27, the over-under at 64.39. So it does like it to go over the total. And looking at some of the numbers right here, nothing really to write home about. So let's get to the Saturday matchups. And let me see if there's any questions right here. And let me see here. Duke is a basketball program, says Plant Base. Late, here I am. Good morning. Welcome to College Football Thursday. Did you guys come up with a new name yet for College Football Thursday? I know I'm throwing a lot of information to you guys. I'm talking a mile a minute like I just had 10 cappuccinos or something. But, a lot of games on a College Football Thursday. We're going to try this format for this week. You guys let me know if you like it. If you don't like it, I'll change the format. But we'll just keep chugging along because at the end of the day, I'm trying to give you guys as much information going into the weekend. So this way, when you're making your bets, we'll send you to the winner's circle. And again, if you're just tuning in, stay tuned. We're going to do all the computer picks. Then I'm going to give you my top underdog quarterback value indicators for this week. I got 7 good quarterbacks that are underdogs this week, and I'll give you my rating system on them. And then you can ask me anything on systems if you want me to look up anything. And then I'll give you my top newsletter consensus picks. I believe I got 6 or 7 consensus pick to share with you. And so that's what I'll do. All right, let's get back to the show, and let's go to Saturday. This is the big game. And what's good in this game is the third string quarterback of this game is an Ottawa guy. So Christian Veilleux, I was one of his first quarterback coaches back in the day when he played up here in Cor. This kid is phenomenal. He's going to do some big things for the Nittany Lions, and I'm really looking forward to see how he's going to develop at Penn State. I don't think he's going to get a lot of playing time this year, but they got Clifford, and I believe there's another gentleman ahead of the second string. I don't have his name right now, but we'll keep an eye on Christian Veilleux here at Penn State to see how he does. But it's going to be tough in Madison this weekend. They're going up to meet the Badgers. And Wisconsin, a 5-point favorite. The over-under set at 49.5. The ATS forecast, the computer pick, going to lean with Penn State. Look at this. 27.5-22. The over-under at 49.5. I'm going to disagree with the computer in this one. I like the Badgers. I do like, probably won't tell Christian that, but I do like the Badgers here. I think this is going to be a tough spot. And, we all remember the start Penn State had last year, right? It wasn't a great start. It wasn't a really good season, actually. But looking at Coach Franklin's record, James Franklin, 16-28, very good record. He's driving a Cadillac at Penn State, right? He's got the great players. 68%, only 17-15 on the road. Now, you got to win your road games, right, in any sport. But it's really tough to win road games when you're coaching, collegiate athletes and getting. When I was coaching at Ottawa U, and Coach Breezy used to say this all the time, you got to travel well. And I kept saying, what do you mean by you got to travel well? He goes, everywhere you go as a football team, you got to make sure that you keep the same routine that you do at home and you bring it on the road, and that you travel well, and that this way when you get to game day that the players are ready. They it's as if they just got out of the bed. They think it's their own bed, and they got to make sure that they get to the stadium. They drown out all the home crowd noise, and you got to play some good football, right? So I always remember when I was coaching at Ottawa U and with Coach Breeze, and he says, you know what? You got to travel well. So we're going to see if Penn State's going to travel well this weekend. And again, they're playing the Wisconsin Badgers, and looking at Paul Chris for the Wisconsin Badgers. Really good record, 55-19, 74%. Under Coach Chris, they've only lost 6 games. They're 30-6 at Madison, and Coach Chris is 55% against the point spread, 41-33-1 record. And should be a great game this weekend in Madison. All right, Texas San Antonio taking on the Illini. Now, Illinois winning last week against the Cornhuskers. Going to be a long year for Nebraska, I think, for Coach Frost. -5 is the line here for the Illini. Texas San Antonio, 49.5 here is the total. And we do have Illinois winning by 3, though. 30.5-27, the over-under at 57.5. Looking at the starters here tonight for Illinois. 17 returning starters compared to 21 for Texas San Antonio. Jeff Traylor, head coach for the Roadrunners, and looking at 7-5 record. And Coach Brett Bielema, he's 98-58. I got to update now. I forgot to update last week. 68%, 64-20 at home games. Say what you want about Coach Brett Bielema. I know he's all over the place. Arkansas, was at Wisconsin. Now he's at Illinois. He wins. He wins his home game, 64-20, 78-71 against the point spread, but only 17 returning starters. I don't know. This is going to be at Virginia next week, so I really don't have an opinion on this game right there. Army taking on Georgia State. The Panthers a 2-point favorite. The over-under is set at 49.5. ATS forecast, computer pick. I'm going to lean with Georgia State here, 30-16. The over-under at 46.72. Now, anytime these teams play Army, Navy, these triple option teams, it really ruins your practice for that week, because now you got to do scout team. And if you're new and you don't know what scout team is when, let's say, Georgia State is defense has got to face Army's offense. So what they'll do during the week is they'll tell their offense. Georgia State will tell their offense, here's some cards, here's their top plays, run these top plays, and then we go walk through and we look how we can stop Army. And that's what they're going to do. So all week, Georgia State's been probably doing all the scout teams on that triple option, and it really it ruins your week as a coach, because you're not, most teams are used to the spread offense now. You might get like a team like Stanford under center, go in the I formation, play action pass. But anytime you play these triple option teams, it really ruins your practice week. All right, Stanford. Speaking of Stanford, there they are going to Kansas State. Man, I've been all over this game. One day I'm feeling for Kansas State. The next day I'm looking at Stanford. Like, I'm flip-flopping like a fish out of sea right here. I really don't have a strong opinion on this game. -2 is the line right now on Kansas State, and the over-under set at 52.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean by 1. Now, the computer here likes Kansas State 24.09-23. The over-under at 47.09. So it does like this game to go under the total. And looking at the situation leading into this game, the only advantage that I think that Kansas State might have is that this is a tough game for Stanford. But, Stanford's got USC on deck. That's a big, big game also, right? So right out of the gate, you get at Kansas, and then you're playing USC. Tough situation. And you only got 14 returning starters coming back for the Cardinals, 16 for Kansas State. So that's a pretty good trade-off right there. And looking at Dave Shaw, Coach Shaw, 11th year at Stanford, 9-36, 71% win percentage, 35-19 on the road. That's one thing I like to look at when I'm looking at coaches and teams, how they do on the road in college football. Chris Kleeman, 3rd year at Kansas State, really good football coach. I remember watching before he came up. Really good record. I forget the school he was at before, but a very good football coach. 52% win percentage. Keep in mind now, he's at a program at Kansas State. He had to rebuild that program, and he's 12-11. He's doing a great job. 65% against the point spread, Coach Kleeman is. So, again, you got Stanford, big look ahead situation next week against USC, and then you got Kansas State, up and coming, good coach Kleeman, 65% against the point spread. Now you see why I'm a fish out of water and I'm flipping all over the place, right? All right, Tulane taking on Oklahoma. Now this game was reshifted because of Hurricane Ida. You got the Sooners, the Boomer Sooners, a 31-point favorite. The over-under is set at 68. Forecast, computer pick, going to lean with Oklahoma. 42-20, the over-under at 63.27. And looking at the information leading into this game, Oklahoma got, was it West Carolina or is it Western Carolina? Yeah, Western Carolina next week, and Tulane's got Morgan State. 15 returning starters. Now, you think that's low, but it's Oklahoma, right? Again, the top 25 teams, the top 10s, they don't rebuild. They don't reload, they rebuild. They don't rebuild, they just reload because they got a lot of great starters in their roster. Lincoln Riley, 5th year at Oklahoma, 45-8 record. Do you believe that? 45-8, 85% win percentage, 22-2 at home. And for Willie Fritz, 6th year at Tulane, he's got a 47% win percentage, but against the point spread, very impressive. 36-25-1 against the point spread. This should be an interesting game I think it's in Norman, right? All right, let's take a quick look at the questions, see how you guys are doing. And as you can see, I'm all over the place right here. So again, if you're asking me a question, I'm just all over the place right now. Once I get in these roles, I just got to keep going, right? And if I get questions, it's like a speed bump. All right, let me see here. Underdog CFL has arrived. NCAA had to drop off my girl at work, says OG. Good morning from Regina. There's Corner Gas. How you doing, buddy? Love you all. Plant-based. Ron, please tell me why it's Rutgers a favorite. I don't understand. LOL. Yeah, Coach Yano's right there. That's why. Let me see here. I think the schools really look ahead, even going into opening. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Players are, back in the day, players, I don't know if players really look ahead, but with the internet now and the social media, players are all over it. The mentality of the college athlete has really changed, today compared to like 20 years ago, right? All right, West Virginia taking on the Maryland Terrapins. In fact, let me go to my super database right here. I think I got a couple of them. All right, I want to take a look at this here. Maryland. West Virginia taking on Maryland, and I want to see the last 10 games when West Virginia goes to Maryland. 5-4, okay, nothing. Thought it was a little bit better than that. All right, here we go. We got West Virginia, a 3-point favorite in this one. Is that all 3? I thought it would be a little bit bigger than that. Hang on here. No, 3-point favorite. Yeah, it was 2, went up to 3. West Virginia got Long Island next week, so that's not a big look ahead situation. Maryland's got Howard. 16 returning starters for West Virginia, 18 for Maryland. Neil Brown going in his 3rd season at West Virginia, and another Ottawa guy on West Virginia on the defensive side. Keep an eye out on Kiki Mesidor. We call him Kiki. Kiki Mesidor, really good defensive lineman at West Virginia. I coached him in 2016, and in Canada we got this summer football. It was called the OPFL, Ontario Provincial Football League, and he is ripping it up at West Virginia right now. So Akeem Mesidor, keep an eye out on him. We call him Kiki, and he's going to be he's going to disrupt a lot of offenses, and he's going to tear a lot of offensive lines, some new ones. But keep an eye out on Kiki Mesidor of the West Virginia Mountaineers. He's going to be an NFL player. He will be an NFL player one day. All right, 56.5 is the total in this one. And you can see we do have the Mountaineers winning here, 33-28. The over/under at 62.73. And for Maryland, Mike Loxley going to his 3rd year, 6-17 at Maryland. Only 3-7 at home. Not a great record. And against the point spread, 48% covering the spread, where Coach Neil Brown is only covering at 45%. All right, Fresno State coming off a big win last week against the Connecticut Huskies. And looking at the Oregon Ducks, again, we said it earlier, Oregon, a big look ahead next week against Ohio State. Mario Cristobal going into season number 4 at Eugene in Oregon. And 25-10 straight up, 71% win percentage, and he's 15-1 at home but 7-6 on the road. But against the point spread, not a good, not friendly to the bettors. 16-19 against the number. Where Kalen Dober here going into a second year at Fresno State, and he has covered a spread 50% of the times. Rice taking on the Arkansas Razorback. And before I just go to that game, Fresno State returning 20 returning starters, where Oregon returning 16. Something to chew on right there, right? All right, Fresno Rice taking on the Arkansas Razorbacks, and you can see Arkansas is a 19-point favorite. Over-under at 49.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, going to lean with the Razorbacks, 39-14. The over-under at 53.84. Looking at Rice. Got Houston next week, where Arkansas takes on Texas. So bit of a look-ahead situation here for the Razorbacks as a 19-point home favorite. Coach Sam Pittman going to his second year. Only 3-7 straight up for Coach Pittman. 2-3 at home, but he's covered 70% of his games. You know, it's amazing. He's 3-7 straight up, but he's covered 70% of the games. So, you know, hey, he could be one of our best friends this year if he keeps that up, right? 70% covering the spread. Okay, keep it going, Coach. Mike Bloomgreen for the Rice Owls, and 7-23, and you can see he's 4-11 on the road, covered his games 53% of the times. Miami Redhawks taking on the Cincinnati Bearcats, and looking at the starters for Cincinnati on the season. So 19 returning starters for Miami, only 14 for Coach Fickle and the Cincinnati Bearcats. Coach Fickle's been doing a great job at Cincinnati. Since he's taken over, they're 35-14, 71%. But look at this. What's more impressive with Coach Fickle, 21-4 in his home games, and he's covered 57% of the games. 39.07, 13.2 for the Redhawks. The over-under at 52.31. Should be a good game this weekend for Cincinnati. Louisiana Tech taking on Mississippi State Bulldogs. Another Ottawa guy going to play for the Bulldogs this year. One of our guys here in the backyard, Chris Fournier, O-lineman, transferred from Maine, is going to Louisiana Tech. So a lot of Ottawa guys taking on some. Who would have thought Ottawa would be like a hotbed of football with all this talent going? There's a lot of talent here in Ottawa. So Chris Fournier transferred from Maine, going to Louisiana Tech. So I'm looking forward to keep an eye on those. I always like to keep track of all the guys I've coached before, see how they're doing now that I'm semi-retired coach. That's the reward of being a football coach, right? You coach a lot of young men, and you see them develop, and you see them turning into great role models for other kids. And so it's gonna be great to see Chris how he does at Louisiana Tech. Mississippi State, hey, Mike Leach. I love Mike Leach. I love all the air raid guys. We had Hal Mummy come up to Ottawa one year, and it was a great time. Coach Mummy giving us some stories, and the air raid offense. Now, the Pirate is a 23-point favorite in this one. The over-under at 52.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, going to lean with the Bulldogs in this one. 32.5 to 14.8. The over-under set at 47.38. And looking at both these coaches going into this weekend, you got Skip Holtz for the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs going into his 9th season. Very good record, 61-41, 60% win percentage, but not a great road record for Coach Holtz. He's 30, a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde record here, Coach. 31-12 at home, but you're only 5-27 on the road. But you've covered your games 54% of the times, 54, 46-2 against the number. Where the Pirate, Mike Leach, 4-7 at Mississippi State. 36% win percentage, not that great. 45% against the number, and we'll see what happens. I know they gave Alabama a good run last year. I think they lost that game, though. Yeah, obviously they lost that game, but I think it was the only game that they played well. I think it was one of those games. I know they had really one good game against a top team last year, but we'll see what happens this year. All right, the Thundering Herd taking on the Navy Midshipmen again. So here's what's going to happen. Another situation just like an Army and Georgia State, right? So Marshall gonna go face the Navy Shipmen, and Navy, that triple offense. It's gonna throw the practice off the whole week. The good news is for Marshall is that this is week 1, so they've had probably about a month to prepare for these games. So keep an eye. This is a great point I'm gonna make right now. When you're facing a triple option team like Navy, like Army, like Air Force a bit, Air Force more they go they're more spread, right? But Army and Navy, when you prepare for these type of triple offense team, if it's week 3, week 4, that's a big problem. Week 1, not so much. You know why? Because you had 30 days to prepare for it. So it's almost like a bowl game. So I'm expecting Marshall and Georgia State to be a little bit more prepared facing the midshipmen. And going into this game, you can see Marshall a 2-point favorite. The over-under at 46.5. But I do like the computer out of only two. Well, that's a little low. 30-26, the over-under at 56. So it does like this total to go over the total. And it might take a while for Marshall to really settle down to this game and really get used. Anytime you're playing a defense like this, it's triple option. It's assignment football on defense. If you're playing a 3-4 or 4-3 defense, you got to tell your guys, look, don't be go chasing butterflies, right? Don't be leaving your spot. Stay in your spot, cover your hole, do your assignment, follow the plays, and things will go. The only time it goes really wrong is when defensive players start chasing butterflies. That's what we call just going on their own, right? They start improvising, right? We don't need football defensive players improvising when the defense coordinator is giving you the plays and the structure going into a game, especially like this against Navy. All right, speaking of Navy, where are they here? Let me see, pull up their Marshall. All right, so Charlie Huff going in the first season, no record. Coach Niumatalolo, 101, 67, 60% win percentage, 54-16 for Coach Niumatalolo here at Navy. Hey, try to say that 10 times. And he's 54% against the number. I do like Navy this weekend. Central Michigan taking on the Missouri Tigers. Now the Tigers a 14.5-point favorite. The over-under is set at 60.5. ATS forecast computer pick. Going to go with the Tigers in this one. 40-21. The over-under at 61.8. And looking at the lines on this game. And where is Central Michigan? Coach Jim McElwain. Remember him at Florida? Well, he's now at Central Michigan. 11-9, 55% win percentage. Only 4-5 on the road. But look at this. Coach McElwain, 14-6 against the number. So very good preparation. The reason why I really put a lot of emphasis on coaches, the buck stops there, right? And the preparation, and he comes from good coaching the SEC. Very good coach. 70% win percentage. Very good. And Elijah Drinkwitz for the Missouri Tigers, 5-5, only 50% against the point spread. And looking at Central Michigan, they got 21 returning starters, so could be a good line here. Could be a good play on Central Michigan this weekend, plus 14.5. All right, Texas Tech taking on the Houston Cougars, and there's another air raid guy, Dana Holgerson. Used to be at West Virginia, now he's at Houston, and I follow those air raid guys. Texas Tech, that is, when you think of Texas Tech, you think of Kingsbury. He was an air raid guy. I think wasn't Brown also at Texas Tech at one point? But so you got two air raid offenses going here this weekend. Look at the total, 65, and we got a shootout brewing here. 37-32, the over-under at 69.7, favoring the Cougars. And looking at both coaches here, Matt Wells for Texas Tech, 8-14, only 1-9 on the road, so not a great. Yeah, very Jekyll and Hyde Texas Tech. They always play good at home, but on the road, you can see 1-9. Coach Holgerson, 7-13. He's rebuilding there at Houston, and 45% win percentage against the point spread. Both team returning 17 starters. All right, hey, no coach is on the hot seat more than Dino Babers, right? At Syracuse. Ohio Bobcats just changed their head coach. In fact, Tim Albin is now the head coach. And I researched some of his things this morning because I still had Frank Solich right there. But Coach Albin's got a win percentage of 76%, where he was before, I think, Oklahoma Northwestern or something like that. And Coach Babers, 24-36, 7-19 on the road, but 52% against the number, 31-29. And looking at Syracuse, they got 19 returning starters compared to Ohio, who has 16. But again, Coach Solich retires, and that really hurts a bit for going into this season, right? Because as long as you kept the coordinators, then everything should be in place. But when you start losing coaches, because normally your head coach will bring in his guys, but as long as they kept the coordinators, I don't see that much of a big disruption, right? Keep the offense and defensive playbook the same. All right, Baylor Bears taking on the Texas State Bobcats, and another Ottawa guy at Texas State. In fact, two of them. Liam Dobson, O-lineman, and Sab Obier, a defensive lineman. I'm telling you, if you're a football coach and you're and you're looking for talent, Ottawa's where you should be because there's a lot of talent here in Ottawa. The Baylor Bears a 14-point favorite. The over-under is set at 52.5. ATS forecast computer pick gonna lean with the Bears in this one, 21.6 to 15.8. The over-under at 37.51. And let's take a look at the Baylor Bears under Dave Aranda, 2-7, but 33% against the number. And for Texas State, Jake Spavital, 5-19, but 9-13-2 against the point spread. Both teams returning 17 starters. Northern Illinois, the Huskies taking on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now, no more triple option at Georgia Tech. You got Jeff Collins now going in his third year, going up against Coach Thomas Hammock of the Northern Illinois Huskies. And the one thing with Coach Collins, he's only 4-9 at home and only covered 33% of his games with the Yellow Jackets. 38-19 is the score we have here. And going into this game, Northern Illinois has Wyoming on deck, where Georgia Tech, Kinesiwa on deck for the Yellow Jackets. 20 returning starters for Northern Illinois, 18 for Georgia Tech. All right, let's get to the next game here. We're going to go to Florida Atlantic. Yeah, Florida Atlantic, the Owls taking on the Gators. Now, Coach Dan Mullen's doing a great job at Florida. In fact, when you look at his record right now, Coach Mullen's going into his fourth year at Florida. 29-9, 76% win percentage, 15-3 as a head coach at Florida. Amazing record right there. 21-16-1 against the point spread. And for the Florida Gators, Willie Taggart, I believe he was at Florida State prior to this. 5-4 the last 2 years, 56%. And but they got 19 returning starters compared to only 9 for the Florida Gators. Losing their quarterback, gone to the NFL, Trask. And so it's going to be interesting for the Gators now. Only 9 returning starters for Florida Gators, right? So I think that's a pretty big number. But Florida Atlantic, not a good team against the point spread, eh? So who does Florida have on deck? They got South Florida and Florida Atlantic, Georgia Southern. So not some really big, huge look ahead situations, right? All right, you got Southern Miss taking on South Alabama. We got the Jaguars winning this one, 33-22. The over-under at 56.5. And let me take a look at some of the numbers right here. No, nothing really to stand out. All right, you got Nevada. Big game this weekend against Cal. Now, the only thing I'm a little concerned is that Nevada seems to be a big public play this week. A lot of people think Nevada is the play. You got Golden Bears, a 3-point favorite. The over-under at 52.5. ATS forecast calling for a Cal victory, 34-27. The over-under at 61.7. Looking at both these teams, you got Nevada has Idaho State on deck, and Cal has at TCU. So you got Gary Patterson on deck. And for Nevada, Jay Norvell going into season number 5, 25-22, but only 7-13 against the number. 7-13 straight up on the road, but a pretty good point spread record, 25-22. Where Coach Justin Wilcox of California is 21-21, so 500. And let me see here, he's 21-20 against the number for 51%. All right, Utah State taking on the Washington State Cougars. We got the Cougars winning this one, 45-19. The over-under at 64.38. And looking at the Cougars. Now, the Cougars losing, the Aggies. I'm at the wrong one here. 16.5. And so they got North Dakota. Utah State's got North Dakota on deck. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's a Friday game next week. It's on a Friday. You got Blake Anderson, head coach of Utah State, and Washington State, Nick Rolovich, going in his second season at Washington State. BYU coming off that big year last year, taking on Arizona. Arizona really pooped the bed last year, didn't have a really good season. You got Jed Fish going up, let me see here, not Jed Fish. Yeah, Jed Fish going up against Nick Rolovich of the BYU Cougars. In fact, I had the wrong coach here. Utah State is Blake Anderson. I just read that line wrong. We do like BYU in this one, 28-12, the over-under at 40.8. And looking at Arizona, they got 17 returning starters, so hopefully a little bit of consistency will be a better output this year for the Wildcats. All right, Oregon State taking on the Purdue Boilermaker. Man, Purdue back in the early days, they produced a lot of quarterbacks, eh? You think of Horton, you think of Drew Brees. Man, there was a quarterback factory. Oregon State, the Beavers, going into Purdue this weekend as a 7-point road dog. The over-under is set at 68.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with the Boilermakers, 34-26. The over-under at 61. And looking at, let me see here, Oregon State, they got Hawaii on deck, and Purdue as UConn. So either, Hawaii at home. So it'll be different if Oregon State was going to Hawaii. That I don't know if you treat that. When I think of Hawaii, I think of vacation, right? Bring my golf clubs or something. But Jonathan Smith going in his 4th season at Oregon, and Jeff Brom 5th year at Purdue. 43% win percentage. He's 19-25, only 11-13 at home. So you got to win your home games, Coach. That's one thing in college football. You want to keep your job, you got to win your home games, right? All right, another good game here. You got Iowa taking on the Indiana Hoosiers. You got the Hawkeyes, a 4-point favorite. The over-under set at 45.5. Forecast, computer pick, going to lead with the Hawkeyes in this one. 22-10, the over-under at 33.3. So it does like this game. A low-scoring affair between the Hawkeyes and the Hoosiers. And looking at the numbers, Indiana returning 17 favorites. Another Ottawa guy at Indiana, defensive player, Kervins Bonham. You want to keep an eye on this linebacker. This guy's a stud linebacker. Again, what's that? The fifth player that I mentioned from Ottawa in the States. So a lot of good things happening here in Ottawa. A lot of good trainers, a lot of good high school programs, community football, and you can see that's producing a lot of collegiate talent, right? So good luck, Kervins, at Indiana this season. And let me see here. You got Tom Allen going his fifth season. Very good coach, 24-22 at Indiana, which is pretty good, right? 52%, but 10-10 on the road. Very respectable, but he's going up against a legend, Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. 61% win percentage, but look at this, 103-42 at home compared to 54-54 on the road. So let me repeat that. Coach Kirk Ferentz, 23rd season, 103-42 at home. 54-54 on the road. So when you look back at his legacy, it's the road games, right? You win the home games, Coach. You just got to win those tight ones on the road, right? 61% win percentage for Coach Allen against the point spread. He's 28-18 against the number. Coach Ferenz is 55% against the number. Western Michigan taking on the Wolverines, man. We talk about coaches on the hot seat. I don't know if there's any. That's not a hot seat. That's a burner in Michigan, right? That's like sitting on a barbecue on your Weber right there in Michigan at the Big House. Hey, it's not the Big House. It's the Big Weber, because that's what I feel Coach Harbaugh's sitting on right now. A 16.5-point favorite. The over-under at 66.5. ATS forecast, computer pick. Going to lean with the Wolverines in this one, the computer pick, right? Computer pick doesn't take emotions, or the computer doesn't read clippings, right? It's just the facts. 43-16, the over-under at 59.7. And let me see, it likes it to go under the total. Looking at Western Michigan, Caleb L will be the quarterback. Again, I'm going to give you guys some numbers on him in just a minute. Tim Lester going his fifth year at the Broncos for Western Michigan. And Coach Harbaugh, seventh year at Michigan, 49-22, 69% win percentage. So it's not as hot as we think, right? 30-8 at home, 52% against the number. But Coach Lester, not a great point spread record, 18-25-1, but pretty good at home. When they're at home, Western Michigan, they are 15-6 straight up. All right, the next two games are your game of the week. Let me take a little breather here and see how you guys are doing right there in the bullpen. And we got 31 people watching. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. And let me know if you guys are enjoying this show, this format. I know it's pretty. That's a lot of information. I'm giving you guys a lot to chew on right now. But again, if you are into college football, watch the replay, go back to those games, get the Raymond Report, and follow along, and hopefully you guys are making some money this weekend. All right, Georgia taking on the Clemson Tigers, man. What's Clemson going to be like without Trevor Lawrence and the Georgia State Bulldogs? Everybody's thinking they're going to win the SEC, but we'll see. We'll see. The Tigers. I'm going to take a little water here. All right. So the Tigers are a 3-point favorite. The over-under is set at 51.5. ATS forecast, computer pick. Going to lean with the Clemson Tigers. 22-18, the over-under at 40.8. Now, this game, I believe, is going to be played in Charlotte, right? Where the Carolina Panthers play. And if I'm wrong, just post it in the comment. And let's see the coach's record. Actually, look at this. Both teams returning low numbers. Georgia returning 13 starters, where Clemson returning 14. But quality programs, right? They just rebuild. They don't rebuild. They just reload. They lose their starters. The next guy comes in, and the second, third string probably can start somewhere else too, right? And that's the biggest thing in college football right now. I'm hearing the portals it's one of the popular things in college football. A lot of coaches are looking at the portals, getting the transfers. So something to keep an eye out down the road. Kirby Smart, 6th year at Georgia, 52-14, 18-4 on the road. Keep an eye on that. Coach Kirby Smart, 18-4. He's got as many road losses as he has home losses. Think about that. And Coach Dabo Sweeney, you know what? He's building a very special program at at Clemson. He's 140-33, 81% win percentage. I think only Coach Saban has a better one at 88%. 79-13 is his record on home. But again, they're just labeled home this weekend. It's a neutral field game. For the point spread record, a 2% edge goes to Coach Dabo Sweeney, and I think this is a 2% game. 58% against the point spread, where Coach Smart is 56%, and should be a good game this weekend. All right. Alabama taking on the Miami Hurricanes. Now the Crimson Tide, an 18.5 point favorite. The over-under set at 60.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with the Crimson Tide, 42.2 to 26.7. The over-under at 68.99. And going into this game, and for Coach Saban, he's only returning 11 starters, where Miami's returning 19. Derek King, going to be a big year, hopefully, for him, for Manny Diaz and the Hurricanes. Manny Diaz, 58% win percentage, but Coach St. Nick Saban, he's 170-23, 88% win percentage. Man, 56% against the point spread, where Coach Diaz is 46%. All right, LSU taking on Chip Kelly and the UCLA Bruins. You can see the Tigers a 3-point favorite. Over-under set at 65.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with UCLA. Look at that. 31-27, the over-under at 59.3. UCLA, hopefully they didn't show all their cards last week in that 44-10 win against the Warriors. And for LSU, the first game of the year, Coach Orgeron returning 18 starters, 20 for UCLA. So that's why UCLA looked pretty good last week. When you got 20 returning starters, then you got something to build off, right? Coach Orgeron going into the sixth season, 45-14 against the point spread. Straight up for 76%, 15-7 on the road, but he's 64% against the number. I'm not touching this game. As in, Chip Kelly, he's only 14-17 against the number, 45%, 6-11 in home games. You're still LSU, right? And we'll see what happens this weekend. Lafayette Raging Cajun taking on the Texas Longhorn. Now the Longhorn going with Steve Sarkisian up against Billy Napier of the Lafayette Raging Cajun. Coach Napier, 28-11, 72%, 13-6 on the road. He's got as many road wins as he does home wins. He covers 59% of his games. I think this is a nice spot here for UL Lafayette. And looking at their returning starters, they got 20 returning starters compared to 15 for Texas under new head coach Steve Sarkisian. All right, Penn State taking on the Aggies. You got minus 29, the over-under at 67.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, going to go with the Aggies in this one, 40-18, the over-under at 58.57. So it does like it to go under the total. And looking at Penn State, returning 20 returning starters. Dustin Crum, really good quarterback. Good value here on the Penn State. And for Jimbo Fisher, fourth year at Texas A&M. And College Station this weekend should be busy. 26-10 is Coach Fisher's record, and 15-3 at home compared to 6-7 on the road. So Coach Jimbo Fisher at home, 15-3 on the road, 6-7. So a bit of Jekyll and Hyde, but you know what? Both coaches very good against the point spread. In fact, for Penn State, Coach Lewis, 18-11 for 62%, where Jimbo Fisher is 23-13 for 64%. New Mexico taking on San Diego Aztecs. Now, New Mexico playing last week, losing to Texas El Paso. That's all you got to know right there. They lost to Texas El Paso by 27, right? And the Aztecs going into this weekend, we got them winning 35-11, the over-under at 46.1. And the bad news is for New Mexico, independent school of the FBS, only returning 3 starters. How does that happen? How do you only return 3 starters compared to San Diego State, who's returning 17? Brady Hoke, hey, not good. If you remember that interview with Dan Patrick when he told him Urban Meyer was coming to Michigan. What do you think of that, Coach? And he goes, not good. Hey, it was a good clip. I can't find it anywhere on the internet, but that's one of my favorite clips. 55% for Coach Hoke at San Diego, and Doug Martin, 9th season at New Mexico State, only covered 42% of his games. Mark Stoops and the Kentucky Wildcats taking on UL Monroe Indians, and you can see, I don't know if it's still called that, but I'll try to let me know if there's a new name. I'm not sure if they replaced that name. And 43-18, the over-under at 61.63. You got Terry Bowden, first year at UL Monroe against Coach Stoops, 9th season at Kentucky. This is a big. Is he always going to be at Kentucky? Is he going to be in line for a next job? That's something we're going to see with Coach Mark Stoops. Done a great job at Kentucky. The one thing, if you're going to follow Kentucky this year, Really good home team. In fact, they are 35-21 at home straight up, only 11-26 on the road, and we'll see what happens this weekend. All right, Montana State taking on Wyoming. We got the Cowboys winning 37-15. Nickel State against Memphis, or is it Nichols or Nickel State? I'm not sure. 33-15, the over-under at 48.46. Central Arkansas 20, Arkansas State 41. Notre Dame. All right, so this was a Sunday night game. You got the Fighting Irish taking on the Florida State Seminoles, and you got only 9 returning starters coming back for the Irish compared to 17 for the Seminoles. And going into this game, Brian Kelly, he's won 72% of his games, 29-18 on the road, however, but 54% against the point spread, 76-65 and 5 pushes, and 102-39 wins overall. So very good record. Believe it or not, 12th season already at Notre Dame. Mike Norvell, 3-6 last year, and we'll see what kind of game. It should be a good game. It should be the only game on deck that night, so it'll be a national audience. It's going to be a pinpointed game where everybody's going to play, but I do like the Irish in this one. Louisville taking on Ole Miss. I'm seeing a lot of people liking Ole Miss in this one. We got Louisville winning 36-26, the over-under at 62.9, and you got Eastern Kentucky on deck for Louisville, and Ole Miss got Austin Peay, so no big look-ahead situation. Scott Satterfield, 3rd season at Louisville, and he's only 2-8 on the road, and for Lane Kiffin, doing a good job at Ole Miss, and we'll give him more time here to make a real assumption, right? All right, there you have it. That is the college football in a nutshell. Hopefully I didn't put you guys to sleep. I know it's a lot of information right there, but again, if you have any questions, go ahead and fire, and what I'll do next is I'll take a look at my top quarterback value plays of the week. Now, what I do in this segment is I looked at all the starting quarterbacks, and what I try to do is get quarterbacks going, 3rd year, 4th year quarterback, good leaders, and then getting some good dog value, right? So what I have first, my first quarterback that I'm going to share with you right now, and let me bring this over here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but so the first quarterback, so I've got 7 quarterbacks that have value this weekend. 2 of them are what I consider high risk, but let me give you the first 4, and I got one that's a medium between, right? So let me do the high risk first. So the first high risk value quarterback this weekend is Miami, Derek King, 18.5 against Alabama against Bryce Young. Now, when I look at King's record, now he's a transfer from I believe it was Houston last year, 64.1% win completion record. 2,686 yards, 23 touchdown pass, 5 INTs. That's pretty good. The second one, which I signed at high risk, is Virginia Tech, Braxton Burmeister, going up against North Carolina. He's going up against Sam Howell. Sam Howell, because he might be up for the Heisman this year, but if you're looking for value, there could be value here in Virginia Tech with Braxton Burmeister. In fact, I believe the starter went to Houston. So last year, not a lot of reps. 48 for 84, 57.1%, 687 yards. So if you're looking for 2 high-risk plays, Miami and Virginia Tech could be, again, just basing on the indicators of the quarterback play. If when you're doing your handicapping in college football, you got to go to the general, right? The field general. And when you get great quarterbacks at college football and you're getting good dog value, sometimes you got to take a look, right? All right, so the medium one here is JT Daniels, Georgia against Clemson. Yuya Galele for the Clemson Tigers. And JT Daniels, a 3-point dog in this one. So, again, medium, good quarterback. Another quarterback that could be up for some Heisman discussion, but going up against Clemson. And, again, I'm just giving you guys my top quarterback dog money value of the weekend. Now, here are my top 4 quarterback value plays of the weekend. All right, indicators, right? I'm always talking about indicators. Your number, so let me go backwards. Number 4, UL Lafayette, Levy Lewis against Texas Hudson Card. I do like Levy Lewis in this one, and looking at his record right here, last year, 59.6%, going into his 5th season, right? So 2,274 yards last year, 19 touchdown passes, 7 INTs, and averaging 7.7 yards, and a quarterback rating of 140.3. So pretty good quarterback right there in UL Lafayette, Levy Lewis. Third one is Caleb Ellaby against Michigan. I really like this play here this weekend with Caleb Ellaby under the helm at Western Michigan, plus 18. And when you look at his numbers, where's his numbers right here? Caleb, Where's Caleb Elby? There we go. Third year. He's going in his third year. Last year, second year, he 64.7 pass completion record, 1,700 yards, 18 touchdown passes. I think he's going to have a big year this year. And the second one, Kent State, Dustin Crum against Texas A&M, who's going with the Haynes King. Again, looking for value with strong quarterbacks, right? Plus 29, Dustin Crum going in his fifth season, 73.5 completion record last year. So not a lot of not a lot of pass attempts, only 113 when you compare some of these other ones at 300 and something. So there's another quarterback for value this weekend. And number one is Carson Strong. This weekend, Carson Strong against California, against Chase Garber. And looking at Carson Strong's number, 70.1% win percentage, 2,858, 27 touchdown passes last season. So the Carson Strong, Nevada +3, that is probably my top four quarterback indicators going into this weekend. All right, let me take a look at all right, so we went through the value pick. All right, so if you guys have any questions and you want to ask me anything, how are we doing for time here? An hour 14. Yeah, we're pretty, we're moving along here. I can't believe it's an hour and 14. All right, let me give you my top consensus picks for this week. So here are my, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consensus pick for this week. I'm going to go from number 6 to number 1, and those are my top plays on the. So what I do is I subscribe to a lot of newsletters, and I build a consensus, and I compare it to my ATS database, and I'll show you. I'll keep track of the record, and I'll let you know how ATS newsletter 1, newsletter 2 is doing, and we'll see how that goes. So, and what I do is I take the I take the averages of all the computer picks, and then I gauge the discrepancy towards the bookmaker's line, right? And then I see which one has the highest value. So starting at number 6, Notre Dame -7.5. The line difference, I had an 11.8 line difference. So when I did the total, so a 4.3 difference with the original line. So Notre Dame -7.5. Georgia State -1.5 is consensus pick number 5, and the line discrepancy number was -4.6. Charlotte +6.5 is the only underdog play against Duke this weekend. So Charlotte +6.5 against Duke. The number 3 top consensus play, well, it was supposed to be tonight. Rutgers -14.5 had a -5.5 discrepancy against the bookmaker's line. The number 2 top play of the week, Northwestern -3 against Michigan State, had a 5.7 discrepancy against the bookmaker's line. And your number 1 play of week number 1 is the USC Trojans, -14.5 against San Jose State Spartans. It had a discrepancy of -5.8, and those are your top 6 plays this weekend against on the newsletter picks that I have here. All right, so Notre Dame -7.5, Georgia State -1.5, Charlotte +6.5, Rutgers -14.5, Northwestern -3, and USC Trojan -14.5. I'll keep track of all this each and every week, and we'll see how they do this weekend. So, if you have any questions, just fire away, and I will do my best to answer them. But, if not, then we'll call it a show, right? Today is Thursday, September 2nd, and this was the College Football Business Podcast for week number 1. All right, let me see if you guys have any questions. And if you don't, we'll call it a wrap. And again, don't forget, folks, you can sign up for the World Series of Handicapping, Sports Handicapping contest, season number 10. That's right. It's a $25 entry. And all you got to do is sign up, put 7 picks a week, and make those selections 7 unit to 1 unit. And if you have any questions about the contest, just let me know, and I would love to have you. Also, what do you think of this format today? Did you think it was too long, too boring, good information, bad information? I would love to hear your thoughts on today's podcast. As you can see, a lot of time went into this week preparing for this show. And, I always say, right, preparation is not being thrown off. Preparation is not building your wings being thrown off a cliff, right? You got to have your eggs, your ducks in order. Prepare well for your show. And I treat this, this show like I do my coaching football. It's all in the preparation, right? Your input, Ohio State. I think, Ohio State, I'm going to pass on that one, says OG Wheat. Just because PJ Fleck going into A season where he's got 20 returning starters. Let me take out my numbers here. So Coach Fleck, Minnesota, yeah, he's got 20 returning starters, 11. But we all know Ohio State, they only got 11 returning starters, but their backups are as good as anybody's top 10, right? So the thing is, I don't like this Thursday night spot for Ohio State. I know a lot of public teams going to be public money's going to be on Ohio State. I'm just not going to touch it. I think there's better plays on the board for Thursday night. And again, if you're a member of ATSstats.com, I got 5 of my top plays in the members area. So if you're looking for picks this weekend, I've got my 2 strongest plays in the premium section, and I got 5 or 6 plays in the regular. So if you're a member of ATSstats.com and you want the ATS Stats picks, I got 6 selections in the regular members area, and I got my top 2 plays are in the premium pick section. I got 2 strong plays for this weekend. Any future plans for World Series on college? No, unfortunately, because I'm a one-man show. College football is a lot of work. I can only handle NFL. Pittsburgh maybe, says Isaiah. Your input on Ohio, I did that. Any future plan? Thanks. And what do you guys think of this format? Did you guys enjoy this format? Was the information good? Was it something that you can use? And what part did you like the best? Did you like the picks? Did you like the quarterback value? Did you like and this show is going to be over in about 2 minutes. So if you want to email me and give me feedback, you go to atsstats.com. In fact, go to the website. You'll see a contact us button on the bottom. Hit the contact us. Leave your detail, and then put on your put your question or feedback into this little box right here. So this way, I don't think you can see the box in the pop-up menu for some reason. But yeah, I would just love to get your feedback on the show, because if you guys like the show, then I'll keep the format the same thing next week. If you don't like it, then I switch things up a bit until we get that the caramel secret, right? Riveting. I like the details on the coaching stats, and yeah. Hey, think about this, and I'll leave you with this here today. Coaches coach, players play. But in order for your players to play great, the coaches has got to give them structure during the week at practice, and make sure, you play like you practice. If you practice like crap, you're going to play like crap on the weekend. If you practice great, you should be great. And it's all about preparation. And it's all about, for me, and when I look at college football, it's all about coaching. If you put your players in the best position, and in football, in college football, it's all won in the trenches, right? I always say the receivers are a dime a dozen, DBs are a dime a dozen, 7-on-7. Go look at a 7-on-7 tournament. Quarterback play is the most important play. Then it comes to the trenches. When I coach, the thing I look for, number one, is the field general. If you got a great field general, you got a great quarterback, you're going to have a shot every game. And then you go to the trenches. If you got good O-linemen, good veteran O-linemen, good veteran D-linemen, and you get a good push in the trenches, then your receivers will make plays, right? When you think of great teams, and running backs, the running backs and linebackers, but in my order, it's quarterback, O-line, running backs, and then the receivers, right? That's the most important. When I look at the offense and defense, the D-line, linebackers, and then the back end, right? And those are my most important trends when I look at football and when I'm scouting teams, right? But again, I talked to you guys about the preparation against a team like Navy and Army. Those are team records, practice records. You play Army and Navy, or you play a different style offense, it just ruins your whole practice, right? I might replay this, one of all the coaching blowout stats. No matter your format, info is always top notch, says Mark. Thank you, Mark. Coaching trend isn't something we have a ton of mainstream access to. Yeah, exactly, right? And this is why I try to be a little bit different, right? And in sports handicapping, think about this. When when everybody has access to the same information and material, what do you think it's going to produce? It's going to produce a consensus. It's going to produce a main thought, right? A main consensus thinking, right? The mindset will be all the same. If everybody reads the same resources, the same headlines, the same Twitter, what do you think the market consensus, the market mindset is going to be, right? And to me, I try to be a little bit different. I try to go against the grain. I try to be somewhat of a contrarian, but you got to go and find what makes this team special. What's the angle that's going to find you to win, right? When you look at a football game, you handicap a football game, what angle are you going to use that is overlooked, that no one really looks at, right? I think coaching is one of them. The quarterback play is obviously one of them, and home favorites. You go, and I've done a video. If you go to my YouTube channel, go look at the Ron Raymond's top 430 videos. Go look at my college football videos on home favorites. Home favorites in college football is a good indicator on where you should be looking at, right? All right, folks, that is it for a college football Thursday. And again, hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner. All right, see you guys back on our regular schedule, baseball tomorrow for a Freaky Friday, September 3rd. Cheers.